Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Welcome. Now it starts feeling like a crowd. Perfect.
Well, the more international, the better.
Yes. Either Burkhardt's camera is extremely out of focus or it's directed at the ceiling. I can't discern any details. Hi, Raquel. How's
Or
London?
just feeling a bit blurred today.
Everything good in the UK?
Broke enough. It's okay.
Cool.
And how's things there? All good?
Good. Yeah, we have been having something like spring for a few days. It's really warm. It jumped from 0 to more than 20 in less than a week.
Okay. I cannot complain about the same. It's raining and gray.
Oh,
Hi, everybody.
hello.
Hi.
Hi.
So I have prepared a few slides to give an overview of the ideas that we have. But given that I expect that a few people will still be arriving, and we are recording this call for the purpose of people who can't make it to catch up, who would be willing to share intention? If you're not talking, there's a bit of some people that's interesting with the noise. I'm breaking up.
You're breaking up really badly, I'm afraid.
Yeah, Olaf, we couldn't understand you.
Okay. So
Okay. So maybe we can do a short check-in. Just do a round of everybody. What's your intention? And yeah, how are you here at the moment? I'm just coming from a preparation of a talk, and I'm quite angry with myself. So I'm more like in emotional state here, and but I'll leave that behind now and focusing here on our CAL conversation, and looking forward to meet so many people whom I already know. And I'm in.
I can go.
I can hear you.
Go on.
no, go on, check in. I just wanted to let you know that I'm back.
Okay,
I don't
good.
know if this echo is for everybody. Maybe we mute ourselves because one of the persons is producing an echo.
I was going to say the same, so thank you. Yeah, great to be here. Great to meet people I have not met. I was a very proud participant in a CAL1 in London. Well, two of them actually. One is as a student, and one as an assistant. So that was great. Really have enjoyed that, and very keen on supporting the process. Probably going to be more of a supporter of the process than a student in this context, but I think the journey's great. I think we are, if I understand correctly, Olaf, you graduated the first CAL2 participants in the world, am I right? And so great to see that happening and growing more, and that we do, yay, you did that. And we did that, and forward to supporting that process, because I think it's really exciting, and everything I hear about the work that's going on in Paris and other places has been wonderful. So delighted to learn about it, delighted to support it as part of the TrustTemenos community, and I'm delighted to be here.
I can go next.
Welcome.
I was with Scott and Christine and Olaf on the first CAL1 in London. which is pretty good. And currently I'm here to hear about plans for CAL2 in London and see how it's going. And I'm checked in.
Welcome.
Welcome, Raquel.
Welcome.
Yeah, so I can come up as next. Just a few weeks ago, we met at the CAL1 in Cologne. It was very interesting for me to see getting myself into a process, not into just lecture and learning some skills or some book content. This was very interesting that this became a personal change or change effort for me. So I'm very interested what else can come. So yeah, I'm here. Check it.
Welcome, Peter.
Welcome, Peter.
I can go next. I was in the CAL1 in Nuremberg with Olaf and Christine, and well, I think I said at the beginning of the CAL1 that not the worst, but it would be nice if this was more than just a certificate, and that's just what you said, Peter. It was a lot more, even though I was there just for one day because I got sick the second day. But still, this started a journey for me, and it's very interesting to. Yeah, Olaf is always saying lead with intention. So to see what you're doing and focus on that, and I think that could be what CAL2 is about too. And so I'm really looking forward what's in there. And I'm in.
Welcome, Tobias.
Yeah, I can go next. I joined, I guess, the CAL1 program in Belgrade last year in November. I was the only one outside of Serbia at that time. And I really enjoyed the entire program, and I'm looking forward for the second one, for the second part. Also love Serbia, so thumbs up for that one as well. And yeah, I'm really excited to see what's on the agenda for us and what we can actually experience in small groups again. So checked in.
Very welcome, Alex. Okay. Good to see you.
So I can go next. We had a major telephone system failure today, so I'm a bit stressed out because I just did escalation calls everywhere. And but what was really enjoying it and the pleasure was the CAL1 course we had with Olaf. It was really interesting, and we really had a lot of insights and enlightenment there. So I'm really curious what the CAL2 will bring to us, and yeah, I'm there. Checked in.
Welcome, and can you add your name because we only have your phone number here.
Harald. It's Harald. Oh, okay. I'm the one Harold on the top, and the phone number is me too. So, but I can change that. No, I can't.
Oh, it's good as long as we know you're there. Welcome, Harold.
Welcome, Harold.
All good.
So, Burkhard, it's your turn if you want.
Well, hello, everybody. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes.
Fine. Well, I had some trouble with my with my environment here because I always make my camera. I cover my camera so no one can see me. So now I. Okay.
Awesome.
I enjoyed very much the CAL1 training with Olaf in Cologne, beginning of March. And well, it sounds to be a very good idea to make, in addition to a very good frontal training, some different approach to teach and to learn. And I'm very excited and very interested in like this CAL1, CAL2 event. Yes. Thank you.
Welcome, and thank you.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Okay, so I have, as I said, I have a few slides to share what our intentions are and what the background is. I'm assuming that most of you don't know exactly what the CAL2 program looks like. One reason for that is that it hasn't fully taken shape yet, is my observation. I was astonished when a few weeks ago? I think it's still a few weeks ago, when we finally got through with the CAL2 certification of my class that I did last year in Paris, that I learned from the Scrum Alliance that they were in fact the first ever finishers of this CAL2 education. So they were the first certified agile leaders of the Scrum Alliance. And that class was, as I said, last year in Paris. We had very special circumstances, too long story to share it now, but I share some of the ideas of the course. You've done CAL1 and you've experienced that we pushed you multiple times to take the lead in the course. That's how CAL2 starts. So the CAL2 thing, as I designed it last year, and this is something that I want to keep. Many other special things about the Paris training I won't be able to keep, but the one thing I want to keep is that you design your training. That we don't give you, like, this is the education you should have, but that you say, this is what we need. There are certain elements that we are absolutely happy to share. We are happy to dig deeper into our leadership wheel or into our TrustTemenos work, go into specific challenges you have, come with our expertise and help. But the main idea of the CAL2 program that we want to offer is that we host it, but you lead it. Background on us a little bit and some updates. For those of you who haven't seen us in a while, we have a second book out, which is called Leading with Intention, as our leadership definition and our kind of mantra about being intentional in everything we want to do. I think that's been a common theme in all the CAL courses. Next Friday, this week Friday, we host the first online open space on trust and safety. If you haven't heard about that, that might be interesting. Can share the slides afterwards and the links with you. I want this to be on the recording. That's why I'm briefly going through this. And these are the dates of our next CAL1 classes for the same reason. All of you have seen the leadership wheel, I think. The three elements of our leadership model: developing relationship, managing context, nurturing growth, all based on or focused around leading with intention, based on your identity, focusing your attention and using trust in all these areas. You get the Certified Agile Leadership certification from the Scrum Alliance when you have done a CAL1 training. All of you have done that, and you have completed a CAL2 education. And the CAL2 education consists of two elements in the way the Scrum Alliance has structured this. So far, every offer that I've seen is an offer that includes both things. So that's what we are going to do too. Advanced education and validated practice is one bit, and the other bit is a peer workshop. So whatever you design as your CAL2 program will need to contain advanced education, meaning you dig deeper into learning something, and you need to validate your practice. In the Paris course, I showed you the 5 leaders we had in Paris last year. They wrote about their application of what they learned in the CAL education, in CAL1 and CAL2, and basically created a book with 5 different perspectives on what they learned in the whole program and in their leadership experience. And we did 2 peer workshops together in Paris. The peer workshop can also be online. It could be a meeting. So when you design your class, our idea is that we have small groups, maybe 5 people, 6, 7 people, and in these small groups have something in common. It could be a common thing they want to learn. They could have similar roles. They could come from similar organizations. They could have a similar idea of, this is what we think leadership should look like, or this is the kind of organization we want to create. And one group might decide to work for several months and meet online and do everything they do online. Another group might say, hey, let's work for a few weeks. And once we have come up with something that's really the topic we want to dig into, we'll meet face-to-face in Berlin and have a 3-day intensive workshop and do everything on site together instead of spanning it over a longer time and only meeting online. So both is possible, and any variation is possible. I'm absolutely open to your ideas. These are the 2 structural elements that we can keep in mind, and there's still the learning objectives in the background. We can dig deeper into any of the topics: leadership in an agile organization, the agile organization itself, agile approaches to change. All of these learning objectives, topic areas could be areas of your advanced education. But these topics are so broad that they de facto don't really limit what you can do. So the main idea is you take the lead, and what I would like to hear today, my main 2 intentions for this call today is that we get our heads around how could that work, what could that leading look like, and maybe get some inspiration around cohorts, around groups forming. I remember in the recent CAL training in Cologne, several of you are here in the call, that some people said, hey, we would like to do this together and we would like to do it in German, because that would be more comfortable for us. So forming a group around that would be nice, and we could start planning what that could look like. The idea is we have this small circle, 1 or 2 people leading it, creating a lot of connections, have a lot of mutual work together so that we could have peer work in pairs and triads in the full group of 5 to 7. Learn from each other, learn with each other, and go through an interesting journey over a couple of months. That's our basic idea. So what are you leading towards? What kind of CAL2 matters to you, would work for you? Let's open the conversation at this point. Now I see you again. What would you like to have happen?
Well, maybe I can start. As a head of IT, I try to transform the IT department of our company into an agile direction, and I'm pretty at the start of this, I guess, as many processes are strictly linear in the moment, and but we have started into this process, enriched through many things we have learned from you, Olaf, and other parts, as I'm originally, or my origin in the IT is from software development, so there is Scrum and every other things we know we have known for many years. But the whole agile leadership thing is a bit different from the methods you have in Scrum and the framework you have in Scrum. There are similarities, but not everything is the same when it comes to leading leading people who don't have any Scrum experience or any agile experience at all. So my point of view is, or would be the one that how do you transform a team or a few teams into an agile direction, and how do you set up the process?
how do you set up the process and the context for transformation of multiple teams or a whole department? I could imagine that to be a good question to form a group around, where different people have a similar challenge or a similar goal in different organizations. Does that make sense? Is that what you were hinting at?
Yeah, that's true.
Harald? Okay.
But I'm also open for any other
yes.
interesting process. So it's just to start with.
Yeah. So who would resonate with that, or who has a different idea, a different challenge, a different theme to group around?
Well, actually, I'm consulting an organization where there is very interesting switch. It's a sales organization, which is, of course, these days using a lot of IT. So IT development, website development, whatever is all included, obviously. But this organization is trying to move into a more agile organization as a whole. They're doing agile stuff like Scrum, Kanban, whatever in non-IT teams. And right now they are in such a challenge. I'm not a leader in this area right now, and won't be, as I'm a consultant leaving the organization within a few months. But it's probably a chance to use some of the skills and test it with some of the leaders in that organization. So this could be another approach. Just to experiment with some of these persons. I have to talk to some of them. If they are interested, this could be another alternative to go for. So.
So for me,
does that mean you would like to be a group of people who are consulting different organizations and you would work with those leaders, or do you want those leaders of the organizations to come and join the program so that you could go with them through this extended leadership education?
I doubt that I can manage the latter one, though the first one will be the most likely.
Okay. Makes sense. Somebody started to speak and I interrupted. Tobias?
Okay. Yeah, for me, agile transition is topic 2. That's well, one of my main jobs at the moment. I'm the Scrum Master of our agile transition team for our internal IT department for about 200 or 250 people, and that's something that's really interesting for me too. So this. Going through this whole process and seeing perspectives from other people from outside our company and talking about these things will be really interesting, and that's a topic for me too. But I have to say, for me, there's at least one point for my own agenda, like working on my own leadership skills. And not only for the reason of my main job or one of my main jobs, but growing my own personality. Does that make sense as a leader? At least I want to keep that in mind throughout the journey.
Tobias, if I might add to this, I think that's a particular theme I share with you, because this is leading from a non-official leading position, like a consultant, a scrum master, or whatever. So this is a skill I would really like to improve for myself as well. Finding a way to lead in such an environment without being the formal or whatever called leader there. Mm-hmm.
I can relate to that as well, and I would add the fact that maybe teams are willing to transition and adopt a new mindset, but you also have you need the support of the organization, and usually that's where it's the whole thing stumbles. So yeah, transforming a whole department of 200 people or an entire company, don't know that really matters on the size of the company. You really need the organizational support, and if you don't have a managing position, so if the authority is not on your side, well, that's a bit challenging.
I can add something into it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you're hearing me. Okay. Because I'm facing also some challenges in the company because I don't have a managing position. I'm replacing an agile coach that was a contractor. So I was brought in to keep up with his work, but what I'm trying to achieve, and this is looking forward to me and not only this company, but any other company that I work with, is what I'm trying to improve is my way to actually communicate and improve coaching skills towards leadership, because we are how to talk with them, how to get them to understand the benefits and actually have the sense of their feelings towards what we are doing and bringing all together. And this is a bit difficult. It's not that is bringing them on board. And this is my biggest challenge, because I do know what I think will be best, but will not be my idea that stays. And it's need to help them to understand what their needs are and fulfill it.
Mm-hmm.
And this is my biggest challenge right now.
That makes a lot of sense, and I think it's a different take on the thing that Peter and Tobias have said. Leading from a position of non-power is the thing that you need is exactly the skills to coach and lead the leaders, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else?
Burkhard, do we want to add something?
Yes, hi. Well, I have much experience as a project leader, even in software development. So for several years in a fixed software team, but never with some disciplinary leadership, always project-based leadership. Right now, I'm a Scrum Master in a large project, well, I would like to know if this is the right course for me, or the right because I have no experience in a disciplinary leadership, only but much experience in a project-based leadership position. And well, Olaf, maybe you can tell me if this is right for me.
It's a great question. Hi, Alex.
Hi there.
I think it depends on what kind of leaderships we are looking at in detail. So the most things that we did in our CAL course and the most things that I think are the essential leadership skills, the human skills that you need to help work in relationships, help develop contexts and nurture growth, are fairly independent from your position of power. On the other hand, with your disciplinary power comes a specific need for specific tools. For instance, as a project manager, you might not get into the situation of needing to fire somebody, whereas as a disciplinary manager, that's something you might have to do. I believe that the general content of these courses should be applicable to both kinds of leadership and to, I don't think that's a black or white thing, that's probably a spectrum, and there are multiple other kinds of spectrums as well, from like being a leader of a smaller group of people to a leader of a larger group of people. Hi, Heiko. Now 2 people join at 7 when maybe we miscommunicated the beginning of this call a little bit. We had the intention of doing it at 7 at some point, and we moved that intention to 6:30. So we're just to bring both of you up to speed, we have been checking in, and I've been sharing a few slides showing basically what our very, very root ideas about CAL2 are, that you need to design your program, and that you can form cohorts on themes or topics that you pick, and we are currently in the process of collecting what people's motivations are, and we've had something like, how do you set up and process and context for transformation? How do you lead as a consultant of an organization or as a Scrum Master? Both have not power, disciplinary power over the people. Burkhard just got a specific twist in when you are a project person who is not in the line organization, doesn't have people reporting to them. Is there still an interesting course? And coming back to what I just said, as you will designing your course, Burkhard, if you are in a group of people where their interest is complementary with yours, and for instance, this leading without power seems to be a topic that would work for all of you, then everything we focus on in that group would very probably be helpful to you too in your project organizations. Does that make sense?
Okay, yes, that makes sense. Thank you. May I add something?
Sure.
You asked if we would prefer a German or English-speaking group. Well, of course, it would be easier to have a German-speaking course group, but for me, both it would be okay to have an English-speaking group as well. So for me, it would be okay if there are not enough members of the German-speaking group would join. And I would maybe prefer to have this workshop type finalizing of, as I understood right what you said. You said that you could imagine some would do it by online calls over a long period of time. And the other idea was to do most of the work in when meeting somewhere and doing. Is it right? Have I understood right what you said? Okay.
Yes.
Maybe for me both would work, but to meet at a place, and I think the outcome might be very, very, very good to do it this way. Yes, maybe.
Yeah. So the two things that I suggested was, and I've seen both offered by colleagues. One is a purely online program, and Christine, Scott, and I have been running a purely online program, a business development program for coaches since October, and we are astonished by the quality of connection that was created without ever meeting in person. So since running that, I'm more confident having an online only program. I'm confident that that's going to work if people want it. And given the different countries where we've run courses and the way groups could come together, it might be feasible for some people to do a program that's only online. If we had a German group, and in contrast to that, and there are 6 people from Germany on the call today, so you would already form a nice group if you wanted to. Then having a couple of online meetings to clarify what everybody's real topic is, what your area of application is, because there needs to be some validation of your practice. So somewhere of where you're putting the things that we learn into practice in your job. And maybe we would do this for 2 months. So I have a few evenings, 3 to 5 calls. And then I have a nice venue here in Berlin where we could meet and work for 2 or 3 days to get through some interesting processes, some personal development things, as Tobias has been asking for, and then look to finalizing this work. And all variations of that would be welcome too. So these are just 2 examples that I currently have in mind. The way I did this in Paris was we met face-to-face twice in Paris for 5 days in total. And then we had a period of, meeting was in November, we finished, I think, in February. So 2 or 3 months where they were working on this book that they had decided to create together. So everybody was writing a long chapter in a book. And that was created in sprints. So we had bi-weekly, fortnightly meetings where we would review what had been written so far, check in, plan the next progress. And it was, we had the original intention to finish by Christmas. That didn't work. And then it was, I think, mid-February when we actually finished. So it was a face-to-face meeting and then working online. That was due to the special situation they were in. They all came from the same company. They knew each other. They had been working together as leaders for years. And I had been working with their organizations for 2.5 years before that thing. So there was a special context to that. Alex and Heiko, have you heard enough to kind of jump into the call right now? Is there anything you need in addition to my summary? And would you like to share what's your intention, what's your ideas, what kind of frame would work for you? And everybody else who's not spoken yet or wants to add something is welcome to as well, obviously.
Okay, sorry for joining late. I didn't get that we started half an hour earlier. So I think I'm all right with jumping into this conversation right now. I would appreciate the slides or to see them later.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. What would I expect of a certified agile leadership seminar? A part 2 is to get way deeper into what it means for me to become a leader in an agile context. And that would mean that I need some kind of sparring partner to discuss ideas and to reflect on whether mine are right or not, develop them further. And I think that could be done by an online meeting, but I would prefer if there's some really face-to-face action in there as well. Yeah.
Great.
Good. I think that's it for now.
Okay. I think for me it works also to just jump in here and get what I missed maybe later or from the recording. I think for a second part of that leadership training, I would love to try out things. So leadership practices that we are convinced of that work, and maybe some that we experienced that did not work. So just to share success or failing stories, and maybe have the option to try things out. So to have time enough for maybe that somebody as a spoken leader for that exercise has time just to present this method or try it out and so on, and the others as so-called followers then, and to share afterwards how the feeling is. So what we can, what we experienced and how the reaction is, and where the boundaries of that. Yeah, so things like that.
Yeah. Yeah, so one of the things that emerged as a common topic in the Paris course was that we started talking about lots of different things, and the kind of conversation we have, we always try to focus on with a specific tool, with a specific method, with a specific leadership activity, action, whatever it is. Let's say you want to introduce stand-ups, very simple thing, right? Look at what's involved in terms of managing context, what's involved in terms of developing relationships, what's involved in terms of nurturing growth. So I'm obviously developing a relationship when we talk every day.
We don't hear you anymore. The quality
voice is going crazy again. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, it's still the same. Yeah.
It's Martian Olaf.
You sound like a machine.
He's from Mars. Martian Olaf.
Yeah, it's. Yeah, still the same.
Does it make sense for you to dial in on the phone for the voice?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so he's dialing. So while he's dialing in, Burkhard, what I haven't heard from you is for what could the CAL2 help you? So what would be your target in participating?
Well, I had been very curious for the CAL1 course, because I only knew the agile basics of Scrum. I'm a certified Scrum Master since 3 years already. So it was clear for me to have to know what the agile principles are, the roles, the artifacts, and so on, the events. And I was very curious about what agile leadership means. I'm very curious now what the continuing CAL2 course will offer, and it sounds very interesting to have it not only in a workshop type, but combined with these reviews, and to work together with others over a longer period of time. Very interesting approach, and I think the people from Scrum Alliance, they have thought about it for a while to how such a course can be created, which makes some benefits, which gives benefits for all who participate. Yes. Okay. So I'm very curious. I'm very interested. Yes.
So you're open.
Thank you.
And curious.
So Olaf,
is the connection better now?
Ah, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I just
Yes,
yeah. So what I said was that a thing that emerged and that I would like to repeat is that everything we do, we really think about our intentions. So we for all the different tools we use, for all the different for all the improvements we make, for all the changes we make in our leadership or in anything in the organization, that we know, okay, we have thought about the context, we have thought about the relationships, we have thought about growth. We know what progress looks like. We know what success looks like. We know what kind of experiment we set up, and we know how we are learning. And this is the main thing that I would really drill into in the CAL2 thing. There's a big inspiration in our CAL1 course to be intentional and to be very clear, what do I want from this, what do I want from this, but to really get that into your leadership habit. That's what, in my hope, happens in CAL2. That people get this reflection and this, what Heiko said, learn from each other, challenge each other, what Alex said, share what doesn't work, share our failures, encourage each other. What Peter pointed out with the leading without power or leading without disciplinary relationship, as Burkhard phrased it. And yeah, bring all of this together so that we can learn together faster. That's kind of the main idea. So we have a few ideas around themes. We have a few ideas around how to set this up. One interesting information for us is what kind of investment in terms of money, apart from the time that you invest for learning, would you willing to make? And I'm especially interested in the perspective on people from different countries. So what I've seen so far, as I've said in the beginning, there is no market yet for CAL2 courses. My friend Pete Behrens offers his purely online course for $3,250. I'm not exactly sure how long that is, but it's a long-term online course for small groups, somewhat similar to one of our options. The people in Köln, in the Cologne course a few weeks ago, asked me how much will this cost, and because I hadn't thought about it before, I just said 3,000 euro. That was the number that came to my mind because of that example. I know that another friend of ours sells CAL2 classes in London for, I think, £2,500. That should be about the same amount of money. I'm interested what somebody from Romania would be willing to invest in such a course. I assume all of these numbers would be not working for you. And I'm totally okay, as all of our offerings have prices that are negotiable in terms of what people can and want to invest. So I'm interested. Some of you might be in companies where you have a budget and need to ask somebody what kind of investment makes sense for such a course. We think that the time investment overall of at least several days will probably include 1 or 2 or 3 individual coaching sessions with Christina or Scott or me. That's something we need to work out. What's your take on this?
I would say specifically for Romania, unless you have a management role, companies won't invest that kind of money into you for a single workshop, even if it spans throughout multiple days or weeks, or even if it's a study group, something like that. From a power perspective, I think it's okay. It's on the high side, if we think like that, but it's not the only training that we experience at such rates. So I think it's okay.
Okay, that means I need to change it for Germany then.
Probably shouldn't say that on record, but whatever my company pays for it. So if they are willing to pay for it. So, but your prices sounded kind of reasonable. I think it should, from your perspective, depend on how many individual trainings and how much time you two invest, or you three invest into the group. If you're leading a whole week of workshops, probably 3,000 won't be the right course. I don't know. I think you might have the better feeling on that.
Olaf, the quality is bad again. Computer voice.
You're back on Mars, Olaf. You're back on Mars.
Yeah. Yeah, better. So anybody else is good?
I can
yeah,
give it a go. It's like for me, I'm self-sponsored. My company at this point in time will not pay for it, and I don't know if they will soon. But I'm making a big investment this year. I'm taking ORSC. This half semester. So as I'm self-sponsored, there is not enough for everything. I would say that is not out of reach. For me this year, yes, because I'm self-sponsoring. But I would say that next year, I think is in pounds, the price in pounds is reasonable. If we are getting coaching, training and mentoring sessions and getting together and sharing and learning, building something, I think is a good thing to have, and I will be okay with it.
Beautiful, thank you.
So you would join next year for CAL2, Raquel, if I understand correctly.
Yes, I would. I would join this year. I'm on my budget.
Yeah, that's understandable, and ORSC is a wonderful course too. Yeah.
Yeah, is one that it will be very beneficial for me, for what I'm doing now and intend to do in the future. And I was not completely aware of CAL2 anyway, but I had the opportunity to take the fast track and have some mentoring sessions afterwards. And I decided that would be nice for me to have it. Yes, thank you, Olaf. So for me, but next year I would be more than happy to take the course, even because my maturity at that time will be even better. And if I can get a company to sponsor me, cool. If not, I'm willing to pay myself.
Awesome. Thank you.
The term sponsoring was turning in my head for a few minutes already before you mentioned it. I thought about if there is participants or willing participants that could not afford an amount like that. I don't know how, but I could think of an idea that maybe some other companies sponsor in a way places for participants with a lower price. I'm not sure how that could work and what the advantage of the sponsoring would be, but just as an idea, I don't know.
It's definitely an interesting option. And for our Leadership Academy, we also have two prices, one for people who pay themselves and one for people whose company is paying. So my expectation is that this will be different in different groups and individually attuned to what people want to and feel able to invest.
Okay.
We have about 5 minutes left. I'm thinking, I will share the slides with you. I need to make sure that I know who's been here, but this is something that I can. Yeah, most of you have been on the invite, and most of you have been on the Cologne course. So yeah, I'll be able to gather that from the recording. And actually, I do something else. I just write the number of names as I see you here.
Yeah, we can also gather the emails here in the chat, and then you have it already.
That's also working.
Is everybody?
Could everybody put their email in the chat?
If you don't want it, then you can send it by email.
We won't share the chat with everybody, so that won't be public. We share the recording of the course with you, of this call with you, and then we can look how we want to how we want to continue. Is everybody of you in the Slack system that we've set up? Or let me ask the other way around: is anybody not yet in the Slack system that we've set up?
Yes, I'm not in the Slack channel.
Okay, I have your email now. I'll send you an invite directly from Slack, and I'll create a CAL2, whatever, CAL2 starter or CAL2 interest or CAL2
channel.
What's this? Yeah, a channel in Slack, so that we can continue this conversation there, and you can connect with people you want to connect with on Slack. And if some of you are interested in continuing this work together, that would be awesome. And then we will check that out, and then what happens in the next couple of weeks. Does that make sense?
Very good.
Anything else you would like to say or ask in the remaining minutes?
I think there were some people who are still intending to join, and I think we will have another call, giving them the chance also to join the conversation. And I think we would be interested to also start the CAL2 and not too far away. So it will be also about how quick you would like to start with the CAL2. So maybe we can gather it somewhere when your ideal point to start the CAL2.
Yes, that's maybe also something that we can share on Slack.
So maybe let's start with consents.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was very happy to see all of you and some new faces as well, and looking forward to continue this conversation. And a good one, because in every week it's coming something up which you don't know beforehand, and I'm intrigued to know what this is.
I think I'm seeing you on the coach retreat here in London soon. At least Olaf will be there, yeah?
I haven't signed up yet. I hope there's still space, but I wanted to come, yes.
Yeah, so I think I will see some of you there.
Indeed, I signed up as well.
Great.
Oh, cool. Great. Anyway, let's keep up with the good and just keep in touch. Okay?
Thank you for showing up.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Great group of folks. Look forward to
Bye.
being with you about this. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Have a great evening.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.